What's up guys, Andrew here, and we have done some pretty cool things to the Tacoma since the last time you guys saw it on the channel. Unfortunately, I've been working a lot, and all the upgrades I've done to my truck so far, I haven't really had time to document them, but they're gonna be definitely worth talking about. So first off, let me show you what we got. If you want to see what it looked like before, go check out my top Tacoma mods video, and I guess we can say this is a secondary video of my Tacoma mods part 2, the little more expensive version. But this is what she looks like now, boys. We got a C4 Fabrication hybrid front bumper on this thing. I got it built a little bit wider so that whenever we put on the fiberglass fenders in the future, it'll match right up and it'll look great. Doesn't look too bad now, even built with the extra width on it, but definitely changed the look of this truck a lot. So there's a winch plate on it right now, doesn't have a winch in there. Don't really need one right now, but I just wanted to fill in the empty space. So I went to Harbor Freight, got a Badlands 10-inch winch plate put on there. Also got some cheap tow hooks, Badlands also put on there, just so if we're riding side by sides with the buddies and they need a place to hook a strap and recover their side-by-sides or whatever, then I've got some tow hooks to do that. So this is the C4 Fabrications hybrid front bumper. I've got some Dynamics pods on here right now. I've got a fog light set up on the outside, the driving light on the inside there, and I still have room for even a third light if I wanted, or either I could shift this over and do a full-size 3-row pods there if I wanted. And maybe in the future we'll do a 30-inch amber light bar in the middle, but this bumper has a lot to offer, guys. It is insane. So that's basically the front end of the truck. Now let's go under the fenders. So that is them right there. This is the Rough Country Vertex coilover. We've got the adjustment here. I have my knob turned down to 1. We have the bracket here that is sitting on top of the C4 Fabrication bracket. I did have to modify it a little bit just because when it mounts here to the sway bar bushing mount, it doesn't match up perfectly. Also, we removed the sway bar link in the truck. It was having some issues rubbing the coilovers here in the front, and I kind of looked into it, and quite honestly, you don't need the sway bar. You know, if you do a lot of riding on the interstate, high speed rides and whatnot, about 70 miles an hour, you'll probably notice a little bit of a difference. But as far as off-roading, riding around town, riding up and down your highways and whatnot, you're not really going to notice a difference. And with the sway bar gone, it's a lot more smoother ride because the sway bar isn't really limiting those control arms from flexing and getting that articulation like they need to get. So if you do some off-roading with your Tacoma, it's probably definitely worth taking your sway bars out. Also, if your sway bar links need to be replaced, you don't really have to worry about it because you just take them out. And this is how you do that. So basically taking the sway bar out is undoing the sway bar link from your spindle here. And when you undo it from the spindle, of course you want to take your skid plate off and also undo the 2 bolts here where that bushing is. Drop the sway bar down on both sides and just pull it out. So I mean, something pretty simple to do there, and makes it ride a heck of a lot better. In the future we are going to do long travel on the front, going to do long travel upper lower control arms. That's why I went with a budget setup for now, because I didn't want to spend too much money, but I did want to replace my coilovers with the leveling kit on top, just because it was doing some stress on the ball joints, and my upper ball joints actually needed replacing again. So I went ahead and got rid of those. Front end is rocking right now. As far as the rear end, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with Rough Country Vertex yet. Of course, when you're doing mods to your truck, the front end is a little more expensive because you have to do upper and lower control arms along with the coilover and whatnot. But so I wanted to test that out and see how it did. Honestly, I'm impressed. For, you know, Rough Country doesn't really have the best rap for shocks and whatnot. You know, they make budget lift kits and stuff. But this is a sick setup for a Tacoma, and they make different models for other vehicles as well. I really like them. If you want a little bit of a smoother ride with your lift and you've probably lost some ride quality there, then definitely check out Rough Country Vertex. I really love what they got going on here. But as far as off-roading, pre-running and whatnot, which is what I kind of plan to do, I'm thinking about doing some archive garage shock relocations, hammer hangers in the back, and probably going with a 12 or maybe even a 14-inch shock in the rear. And depending on lead times, we'll see if I go with a king shock with a reservoir and adjuster, or if I decide to go with Fox. More than likely going to go with Fox just because the lead time is a bit less. Now, I would absolutely love to have the blue accents with the anodized parts on the Kings for sure, but you know, might go with Fox just for the simplicity and waiting a lot less, because you know, it kind of sucks to wait when you want to do stuff in your truck. Also, we've done some more mods underneath the truck, so let me show you what that's about. So as you would notice, coming around to the back of the truck, we don't have the exhaust hanging down here anymore, and that's because I put on a Flowmaster Outlaw Series high clearance exhaust. As far as my review goes on this thing, it is loud, it's aggressive, maybe a little too loud for the way it is, and simply because it dumps over right underneath the bed. And if you don't have sound deadening in the cab of your truck, when you're running higher than a little bit higher than 2,000 RPM in that 2200 range, it hits a tone that pierces your ears. And I don't have my truck re-geared, but I took a trip to North Carolina for a work trip, drove my truck on the interstate, and man, it just, the entire drive was humming my ear. It was a little bit of a burden, but honestly, I mean, the exhaust sounds great riding around town, off-roading, all that kind of stuff. All right, so right now I'm gonna set the camera on the ground and let you guys hear this exhaust. I'm gonna do a crank up and then just a little rev so you can hear it. And later on, I'll probably ride down the road also and let you hear what it sounds like from the inside of the cab. So here we go. But yep, that's another mod we've got going on right there. And also, I've switched up tire setup since. So I actually found a deal on Facebook Marketplace. These Toyo Open Country tires, they're 32s, actually the same exact size that I had on the truck before. And they fit like 33s, honestly. Basically full tread, had 5,000 miles on them, and I paid $500 for all four. Nothing wrong with them, even tread and everything, and they look great. It's a lot beefier, has a lot of side tread there. Of course, you guys probably know what Toyo Open Country MTs look like, so not really much of a review to do there. Of course, it rides a little bit rougher than my ATs did on the highway, but one thing you can do, and what I've done with this truck, is whenever I go off-road, I definitely air down a bit. So I run about 20 psi when I'm doing, you know, off-roading. I don't have beadlock, so I'm not going to go down to like 10 psi. I'm not crawling or anything, but just for a little bit smoother ride, airing it down just so they have a little less bounce, they absorb the hits better, and especially with still having stock suspension on the rear end, it helps a lot. But yeah, that's what I've got going on there so far. These are pretty much the mods that I've done lately, and you know, I just feel like you guys have missed out a lot on the channel, and I would love to start posting more than just updates, but maybe some installs and whatnot. But you know, unfortunately with my work schedule and trying to get things done as soon as I can in between like parts coming in whenever I order them, it's pretty tough to make a video then. But I'm gonna do my best to try harder and make some content for you guys on that. But we're actually gonna go riding this evening, and we're gonna hit some dirt roads and have a good time. Some buddies are bringing their Jeeps, side by sides and whatnot, so this is gonna be great. But we're gonna have a good time. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I will also make some videos in the future of this thing just mobbing some little montages here and there, some B-roll shots, and yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more stuff like this in the future, subscribe and hit the like button and share it with a friend. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post another video. And that's pretty much it. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.